Let's bring into the conversation Hannah Weisfeld, who's director of Yachad, an organisation working to mobilise Jews in this country to support a political resolution. Do you understand why Lord Cameron is under attack? Good morning.
Good morning, Nick. I was actually at the reception where he laid out those words. And
I'm sorry, I wasn't aware of that. What was the reaction? What was the reaction in the room, Hannah?
Very positive. So the room was full of Conservative MPs and Lords, as well as Arab ambassadors. And actually, it's the first time in a long time I've heard a UK government minister lay out really clear thinking on how we move beyond the mess we're in. And there was a very positive response to that. And what I would say is what Cameron expressed was a desire to see a credible political route out of the current mess, and one that provides the political horizon, which is something we don't have right now at all.
Here's the question. From my understanding, and you're closer to it, a two-state solution does seem the way forward, but where's the land coming from? Who's going to give up what? How will it work in practical terms?
Well, I mean, the great irony of this discussion about a two-state solution is that everybody knows broadly what that piece of land is that will become a Palestinian state, which is the West Bank and Gaza. There are discussions around specifically areas of land that may be swapped, but that state will be built from land in the West Bank and the Gaza.
Realistically, though, do you see Israel ever surrendering the West Bank now?
Eventually, there's no choice. I mean, we can continue, both peoples of the region can continue to fight this war in which we've seen, about 27,000 people killed since October the 7th. Or there can be a political agreement. It's not that it's easy to get there, but I would look back, 50 years in history and look at what happened in 1973 with Egypt. So in 1973, in the Yom Kippur War, where Egypt invaded Israel, no one could ever have imagined that Israel 6 years later would withdraw its civilians and its troops from the Sinai, where they were living, and give that back in the land for peace deal. Since 1979, Israel's had peace with Egypt. It's not the warmest peace, but it's peace, and it's much, much better than the war we're currently looking at.
I'll agree with that. Lastly, to those who say it could be seen as almost a reward for the terrorist activities of Hamas, how would you respond?
Well, I would flip that right on its head and say, if you want terrorism and the terrorism of Hamas to recede, we need to strengthen the moderates. And if the moderates have nothing to show for their work as moderates, then we create a vacuum in which terrorism can flourish. And what Cameron said on Monday evening is exactly that, which is that we need to provide a credible route out of this in which a Palestinian Authority has governance and has credibility, and the skills it needs to govern.
I will leave it there. Hannah Weisfeld, thank you. You're director of Yachad.